Hello and welcome to the Whoniverse and to a brand new video. So sorry it's been so long since the last one. Now last year's series of Doctor Who was ever so slightly controversial, from the TARDIS interior, the way exposition was delivered, and the level of threat in each episode, striking arguments among many. And that's not to mention the casting controversy. I mean seriously, BBC hiring another actor from Northern England to play the Doctor? It's unbelievable. All jokes aside, even if you're Doctor Who's biggest fan, I'm sure in this year's long drought of New Who on TV, you have thought what would make Series 11 better, or even what you'd like to see in Series 12, with these wonderful improvements in mind. So, I've thought I'd throw a couple of my thoughts into the vortex, so here's 10 things I'd love to see in Series 12 of Doctor Who. Let's start with something that appears to be quite small, but is in fact a larger issue. That's right, it may sound weird and probably isn't the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm not saying we need to see where the toilets are. However, the TARDIS is more than just one room, which in a few episodes seemed very dark. Instead, it should be this complex and infinite maze of rooms developed by the best ship in the universe. There don't seem to be any corridors in sight, so where does everyone sleep? I mean, the ponds had bunk beds for a while.
No, bunk beds are cool. A bed with a ladder.
What did Team TARDIS do between adventures? Rory played darts, the 10th Doctor and Rose sat on comfy chairs joking about past adventures, and the 12th Doctor completed equations and played the guitar. It's these subtle things that make the team feel like just that, as well as a family unit, laughing and joking in this mad box travelling through space and time. Now something I found odd in Series 11 was the addition of characters' backstories that go nowhere. A couple of examples include Ryan's dyspraxia, and Yaz being an ambitious police officer. In the case of Ryan, his condition shouldn't define him, far from it. However, it would be great to see this condition affect Ryan in a couple of different scenarios, like crossing a chasm similar to the one seen in The Voyage of the Damned, where balance is key, or even flip the idea on its head, and have a problem where Ryan is the only one able to solve it, due to his lack of balance, or resilience he built up while trying to learn to ride that bike. Then we have Yaz, who is introduced as this police officer who wants to achieve more and be challenged. This didn't really stretch out as far as I would have liked, with it not really brought up much, and Yaz not really showcasing any form of police procedure when confronted with an armed man. It would have been nice to have a few nods to her position, like in Resolution when they are trying to track down the Dalek-possessed Lynn. Yaz could be logging into the police database to try and find her, or give some police pointers often seen on cop shows or police dramas like Broadchurch, for example. I think it would be great in Series 12 for some kind of small Torchwood team-style group, maybe unit since they were essentially shut down, to turn up on Earth-based adventures, and Yaz gets to impress them, to a point where she gets given a line from Kate Stewart or someone similar. If you ever need a job outside the police car or the police box, give us a call, etc, etc. I think the way Series 11 handled Graham's character, however, was great and showed some real growth as he began to move away from his grief and focused on bringing up Ryan. The loss he faced in the first episode should be mentioned occasionally, and perhaps when his feelings of grief aren't overwhelming. He may even stop travelling. Who knows? Now, in many episodes before Series 11's run, we get to see the Doctor and their companions dress up in period-appropriate attire to better fit in. Examples of this including the Unquiet Dead, Thin Ice, the Crimson Aura, and Deep Breath, immediately springing to mind. The thought of the latest Team TARDIS dressing up could easily spark lots of comedic scenes. Can you imagine the reactions from Ryan, Graham and Yaz as they dress up for a Tudor or Victorian adventure? Never mind the Back to the Future Part 2 approach of dressing up in futuristic clothes. It's something small, but it'd be great to see and really let the costume designer and creators behind the scenes spread their wings. I think everyone can agree that the sonic screwdriver is a great invention for the show. This souped up tool used for fixing stuff carried by a hero instead of a gun. However, sometimes the sonic gets a bit too much of our characters' work done for them. When you see our heroes come into a new area or planet, I want to see the Doctor working things out, deducting facts from clues instead of reading off a list of stats from a screwdriver. It's the sense of exploration that helps make the show exciting and intriguing, as every episode there's something new outside those blue police box doors. The sonic has always been an overused item, so much so that John Nathan Turner destroyed the device during the 5th Doctor's run to allow the show to move forward and lose the over-reliance on what was once a scientific instrument, which has since become a device capable of everything but unlocking wooden doors and deadlock seals. I'm not saying we should lose it completely, instead just limit how often it's used, let the Doctor's brain do the work. As a Time Lord, she has more abilities than we even know of. Doctor Who is a show with a unique and brilliant past that stretches on for what looks like an eternity, with so many stories, characters and interesting choices. I think now that we've had Series 11 as a way of showing off the show's basics to a new audience and in turn new companions, we should see a few more nods to the Doctor's past in Series 12, from mentioning the Doctor's home planet a bit more, mentioning past companions, or delving into the details of the Doctor's life before she met her current fam. I do respect what Chris Chibnall did with Series 11 in not trying to overfill the minds of a new audience with the lore of the show, because there is simply so much of it, and expecting anyone who's never watched the show to know everything about it is just impossible. I'll always think of Series 10 and its promise of being a perfect place to start. However, by the end of the series we have a finale featuring multiple Time Lords from the Doctor's distant past. Balancing 50 odd years of backstory into a show is an impossibly difficult task without blurting out pure exposition until our ears fall off. Right, now in Series 11's finale, the Battle of Ranskoor Av Kolos, try saying that in a Cockney accent, we have our villain try to steal some planets. This plan is then thwarted when the Doctor's friends each play their part in saving the day, and the planets are finally returned using the TARDIS. Now this kind of plot has been seen before, just over a decade ago in the show. So what made the Series 4 finale so great in comparison to 11's was its use of high stakes for the people on the planets being showcased in a relatable way. When Earth was being put back in the right place or moving to the wrong one, we had the companions' families each have their moment of confusion and panic. Meanwhile in Series 11, we have a space laser hit the planet and that's about it. We were introduced to Yaz's family, so why not have them all panicking with the dad saying it's all a conspiracy like in Arachnids in the UK? Simple touches like that would make the effects of what should be a very powerful act feel like just that, instead of something that is spoken by the Doctor or shown by a space laser. Series 11 lacked in high stakes like reality falling apart, and I'm fine with that. However, when it does come to those moments, they need to feel larger and more threatening than killer rags. Everyone loves a cliffhanger. It's one of the main reasons for the success of soap operas like EastEnders. Doctor Who has been using cliffhangers for longer than I can remember, with classic stories played out in multiple parts, each one with a cliffhanger, many of the best in the 5th Doctor story, The Caves of Androzani. In New Who, we've had plenty of cliffhangers to break a story in two, or lead us into the next one. Now Series 11 didn't feature any official two-part stories, and that did allow for a more diverse range of stories within a limited episode count. If this is the same route taken for Series 12, then I would love the series to end on a cliffhanger, much like Series 6 Part 1 or Series 7 Part 2. It would make the wait for a new series so much more exciting to speculate over how the Doctor could escape this time, or who's the enemy, or how could they run out of custard creams. Cliffhangers are great when executed properly, and I feel like this is something Chibnall could easily take forward from his other series and bring back to Doctor Who. Okay, so tell me some defining parts of their character that make each modern Doctor unique in 3, 2, 1, go. The 9th Doctor is a man wrapped with survivor's guilt that tries to help other people. The 10th Doctor is a sarcastic and comedic character that can release his own fire if needed, who slowly gets defeated by loss. The 11th Doctor is childish and eccentric, but snaps if anyone threatens those he cares about. The 12th Doctor is wise and gets straight to the point. He questions his own decisions throughout his life and develops a large sense of compassion and kindness. The 13th Doctor, well, she is eccentric like 11 and kind like 12 asked her to be. But other than that, I'm struggling to think what makes her unique. I mean, her gender obviously, but that shouldn't be it. Jodie Whittaker isn't the female Doctor, she is the Doctor. I really hope in Series 12 we learn more about who this incarnation really is. Simple moments of standing her ground or how she handles a tense situation really tells us what this character is like and how relatable she is. For Series 11's New Year special, Resolution brought back the Daleks in a unique and interesting way that reminds us that the Daleks are actually super intelligent mutants in differently coloured pepper pot tanks. The reconnaissance Dalek was a great idea that showed off a single Dalek as a huge threat while displaying a well-known Doctor Who creature in a new and exciting way. It was great in Series 12 as well as a series of brilliant original villains, which are always appreciated. It would be great to see the 21st century's version of the Sea Devils or the Axons. Even make the Sontarans a threatening bunch again instead of comedic potatoes. Just don't bring back the Weeping Angels or the Master, just let them rest for now. We already know the Jaduna returning in Series 12 featuring rock and roll hairstyles, so maybe we're on the right track, or we're going to have a Jadoon vs Sinclair rap battle. Who wins? You decide. Okay, so having 3 companions can be absolutely fantastic. However, sometimes that TARDIS can seem a bit crowded, with one character not really having anything to say, or worse, having to state the obvious. It's very difficult to find a balance for all these characters in one scene. A way to avoid this is to have the gang split up during an episode like Series 11's Rosa. Alternatively, have an adventure where one of the companions stays at home or just wants a relaxing break from saving the universe. This will allow some of the companions to get that much needed development I mentioned earlier. If you've watched previous series of Doctor Who like Series 1, 2 and 6, you'll know that having an ally joining and leaving certain adventures can be refreshing and provide plenty of funny lines and great interactions between characters, not to mention it helps with pacing of the story and shows the characters to be human, with lives outside the blue box. There are plenty of reviews saying that the show needs to ditch one of the Doctor's friends. I don't think that's right, not just yet. They need to have that reason for leaving, and they need to have their characters developed further for us to understand why they would even do that. With all that said, I'm not an employed scriptwriter, script editor, or in charge of Doctor Who, which is nowhere near an easy job. I'm just a small YouTuber and the viewer of this little show that I've been in love with since I was a kid. I hope what I've said, or even a few elements, make it into Series 12, and if not, well, there's always Lucky 13. Thank you very much for watching and waiting for me to make more videos. As always, I've been super busy with work and of course trying to be a responsible adult. A lie too big for even the psychic paper. I've got a bit of time off, so I'm going to be sure to make a load of videos, so stay tuned by hitting that notification bell and subscribing to see more. Like if you think the video was alright, and comment below with what you'd like to see in Series 12. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.